Good morning, traders. What is up? Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you all become better traders. What is good? So yesterday we took a long off of hourly support on Bitcoin. The trade lasted for a little while and then Bitcoin ended up selling back off again. And now we are getting really close to an area of very much people are looking at this area. Let's just say that you're essentially into the 200 week simple. Once again, we did get up into this not too long ago, and we essentially bounced off of it, creating a intraday support before leaving it. I don't like the fact that we're back to it, but I mean, it is what it is, right? We trade intraday, so we don't matter. It doesn't matter to us if Bitcoin's going up or down. We still make money. But we are looking for the up trade. I can't short it when it's down into support like this. So essentially what we're going to be keeping our eyes on this morning is $22,680. That is the hourly support that we bounced off of this morning at roughly 5 o'clock in the morning. So since 6, we've opened up and we've traded away from the level. So I'm going to get rid of the 200 simple. That is the weekly. That's why you see this little thing to the upside. Don't worry about it. It's just how this thing populates since it's supposed to be on the weekly. So anyways, this is the area where the 200 is sitting. We have CPI coming on the 10th. That's going to be, a good 8 days away still. So we ain't got to worry about that. As far as news goes today, we don't have any. We had the RBA, which came out and made the Aussie dollar do exactly what we wanted. So we got a little bit of continuation off of that. Let's go check out that trade real quick, and then we will move on. So yesterday we were trading here when we started the live stream, and basically I was watching daily resistance, and this is where I took an entry. I took the entry right before the stream started, but we were trading here for a while. So essentially you could have taken this trade all morning up until 11 o'clock in the morning, and then that's when it rolled over. This big rambunctious candle right there, that's from the RBA. So we are getting that downside continuation. That is a fantastic entry. That is almost as good as an entry as I got on the USD JPY. I was also watching Aussie Swiss for a short trade, but in order to essentially give me the signal to operate in the market or to throw out a sell order, I needed to see this swing high liquidated. You can see there that it did not happen. So once again, doesn't matter how good the strategy is, everything works in the market, just not all the time. All right, so we missed Aussie Yen or Aussie Swiss, but mostly everything else is doing pretty good. So levels to watch for Bitcoin. I do also have a demand level set at $22,820. That is this level here. So basically, this is a downtrend. You are red on the day. You're down 1.65%. The markets are down. All of the markets, SPX, NASDAQ, the RUT, everything is down so far. This is the New York session open for FX, but obviously an hour and a half will be when the market opens, and most of these assets are going to open down. So we'll see if Bitcoin can find support. And once again, we're just simply watching intraday support. We have that level there. If it fails to get under it by closing an hourly candle under this, then we'll potentially look for bullish entries there. And stop would be below low of day. I don't want to take this right now. I would much rather get a push down to support. The actual support price that we are going to be watching is there, 22,719.24. So either there or there. A close below this, you scratch the long trade. I do have an alert set there, so that way we can go mosey on over and look at some other markets. The only thing that I even seen remotely interesting is pound dollar and Aussie or Euro Aussie. Now pound dollar, yesterday we were looking for this area to hold as resistance. You did get actually we did have someone in the chat take the trade, and then I don't know if they got stopped out or not with this bullish candle here. But you can see once that was put in, you essentially just traded away, came back in, tested this level there. That is the supply. and then you've rolled over. So you have gotten a bounce. The London session set in the low currently. Will it be the low of day? We don't know. As of right now, you can see that this thing is struggling at intraday resistance, but you also have a support right there. So it's not the most beautiful of trade entries. And in fact, let's see here. What would it be? So it would be 29 pips. That's not that great on pound. It is a small range, but this would be our target because you have support there. So if we were to get short here, our entry would look something like this. Our stop would be this wick high, unless we get a stab up and then a drop back below it. We just started this hour, so when we start the hourly like this, we don't just jump on it straight away because you're still testing upwards. You still have this swing high up there that could potentially get liquidated, because anybody that can't have patience, they just immediately take the trade, throw a stop wherever. So we'll see if it gets above this wick high and then rolls back over. So if we were to take that trade, it would look something like that, and it would be a 2.43 to 1 risk to reward. All right, so, and on FX, we're never risking anything more than 1% per trade. So essentially that would be 2.5% profit. Depending on your account size, obviously, will determine how much money you make. But it's not about making money, especially when you're trying to learn how to do this consistently. It's about hitting those consistent trades, being consistent with your orders, being consistent in the way that you take trades and close trades. Consistency is key. And then the other one that I'm kind of looking at, and that's only because of the RBA, is this. We have intraday support. This is your RBA news, but the euro is weakening. You are red on the day, on the euro. Where are you at, euro? There you are. You are red on the day. So looking to take a long on euro Aussie here, I don't know, right? I don't really like it that much. It's very volatile, but this thing is in a downtrend. You are well under the 50. Just because you got this big bullish candle today, it doesn't mean anything. Seeing how you're in a downtrend, it's likely going to get faded. You have daily res. Let's just leave intraday support there. We have daily res there, and that is currently what you're struggling with. So if you like the short trade because you're in an overall downtrend here, or even close under 1.47574 would look good to me. Once again, you have this is support, so that's as far as you got as far as intraday ranges goes. It's not a big trade. There's just literally nothing in the FX world today. Got a big down move on USD CAD, but then it bounced right off of a level, and that level is old support, as you can see right there. That's where she bounced. That is supply, right? Because when you're trading under it and you're trading back up to it, that becomes supply. Yesterday you closed under it. Today you have more than liquidated yesterday's high. So this kind of looks like bullish continuation to me. So do we go long or do we go short? That is a nasty hourly candle, but it could have, it just traded down to another support level, and so far you're getting a bounce. Not really a whole lot in the FX world. Obviously, you can't do anything with any Aussie pairs. Aussie yen down 1.78%. That's almost a 2% day. That is a massive day on FX. Aussie dollar is down 1.31%, so it is kind of sort of getting a little bit of a bounce, but that trade was yesterday, and then Aussie Swiss down massively. So all those trades were yesterday. If you guys find something that I haven't looked at yet, that looks good for a day trade, make sure you let me know. How is everybody doing this morning? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, perfect. Heath Mac Daddy Davis spitting on fools' chests and smacking the back of their heads. Okay, all right. We've talked about the liquidity game. Excuse me. We've talked about the liquidity game. Don't you think we might take out 28th of July, then go? You got to give me an asset. I don't know which asset you're talking about, Will. Just throw that down in the bottom of the chat. I'm at the bottom, so I will be able to read it. Just give me an asset, and I'll go look. July the 28th. BTC, baby. All right, let's go look at July the 28th. Oh, this wick here. Yeah, it's absolutely possible. 100%. Yeah, because that was just a smack dead perfect test of daily res. That wick there. It's also the weekly open. This is the weekly open. This is the price that I wanted to see it push down to at the beginning of the week and then find support here, right? And then Friday, I wanted to get long as close to this level as possible, and then Friday be looking at price like up in here, right? Is it possible that it liquidates that wick low first? Yes, it is. And it looks like it is kind of aiming for that. So just throw the daily res up there, and then that line will encompass the low, because the low of that candle is 22,580, and then this is 22,583. So if you throw a wick through that, you will have liquidated that. Faux show. Yeah. Yes, it's that wick right there. So we'll see. We're not seeing any kind of bullishness yet. Well, we did get a little bit of a bounce, but that's more than likely going to be faded and on light volume as well. And if we go over here and we pull up our volume profile for the session, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. But when we use volume profile, we use it per session because we are day traders. Looking at volume profile over here on the right on a daily time frame is useless. If you want to look at volume profile, look at volume profile per session, because it shows you where the most volume traded at which price in that daily range. Yesterday, this is how it ended up, right? Point of control was up here. Anytime the point of the control is up at around the top of the range, you're typically going to be more short leaning, and the same goes for down here. If the point of control is at the bottom of the daily range, typically you're going to be looking for longs. We do not take trades off of the point of control, ever, ever, ever. We just want to know where the bulk of the volume is traded. That way, if we see price, if we take a long trade, for instance, like here or here this morning, then we definitely want to see price get well above the point of control, as that would look really, really good for our bullish entry. If you struggle at the point of control and you do have intraday resistance setting right above the point of control, then it looks like you're going to see more short continuation or downside continuation. So volume profile only works if you're looking at the daily ranges. In my opinion, that is an opinion only. There are several volume profile tools on TradingView. You can do fixed range profiles. You can do a lot. But when you're trying to be a day trader, you're essentially trying to pick the direction for the day's range, and you're trying to do it before the range happens. So you're using info that you have in front of you, and you're trying to pick or get a directional bias. Right now, volume point of control is above price, and it's right above intraday resistance. And if you look at this candle right here, you can see that you have already taken out the low of this candle, and you did not close above intraday resistance. Boom. So if you are a short trader, if you want to sell the lows, then you want to look to get short at 22,896. I do not want to take that trade, right? Is it going to work out? It could. And to be honest with you, there's a nice risk to reward setup on it. So if you just look at it like this, throw your stop above that wick high and target the level we're looking to get short, it's not quite a 2-to-1 risk to reward, but almost. And then the same will go for the upside for us. It's not that great of a trade to take, because this would be the entry. Why is that so damn big? This would be something similar to the stop. Or if we get down there, you could wait for the wick to push through, liquidate the low, then get back above the level before taking the long entry. And then 2 intraday resistance is a 2.74 risk to reward. So with the 2 intraday resistance and support levels that we currently have down here, obviously the day started here, but you do not have any resistance up here. Nothing. So this is all open space. The current resistance and support range for this daily range is 28 or 22,896 and 22,719. And since we're in the morning we're at the honeypot or the zone where we look for trades, this is the trading range. And as of right now, the long trade has the better risk to reward. So I do have a video on using risk to reward to help you identify trades. You can go check it out. Maybe one of my mods could throw that in there. I'm not sure if it's on the new or on the old or this channel or the small channel. I do have a small channel, but on that channel, it's just uploads only. There's no live streams ever going to happen there. And there's only a few videos over there, but let me see if it's over there. Yeah, it's on the small channel, so I will throw that link in there.
Want designer quality shirts without the price tag?
Sorry. But this video here, this is identifying good risk to reward setups. So let me throw that in there if you want to check that video out. But right now we're coming down to the demand. It's intraday demand, and it's a big demand candle. So typically I like my demands to be smaller than the breakout candle, or smaller than the recovery candle. This would be your recovery candle, and your demand is just very close. And if I'm looking at Bitget's exchange right now, price is trading real close to that demand, and that price is 22,804 spot 50. And it just threw a wick to it, not quite hitting it just yet. So we'll see what happens, right? You're on it here. So if we drop down into the 5-minute time frame, you're going to see, but you haven't touched it. Haven't quite touched it. We will see if this area holds. Basically, what you'll see is you won't see any 5-minute closures under, right? If it comes down, tags this, and then it starts to trade away, then that's pretty much holding, or pretty much what we're looking for. This price down here is much better for me, as that makes the risk to reward better. If you take this trade, your risk to reward is garbage to the upside. So I'm not taking this one. I will only buy it if it comes back down there. And since we bounced from there and you're already trading well above it, is it likely to come back? I don't know. That's what we just got to wait on, right? So right here is the 200 week. So these 5-minute candles here, this was a group of what? An hour, a little over an hour. Those were trading at it. So essentially just right at it. This is why we don't take trades based on averages. But I mean, there was almost a perfect touch of it. So we just keep an eye on it. I mean, if it can't get under 22,820, not this, but this, then we'll think about it, right? We'll think about it. But there's your 200 simple moving average. And as the thumbnail says, will it hold? It doesn't look good, right? I mean, this was the bounce we traded yesterday, right here. We got long down here. We traded the, oh wait, no, we were long. Where were we long? Here. No, it was here, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, we pulled in here. That's when we got long, and that's when we got the expansion to the upside. Came up here. It traded above weekly resistance for a little while, but there was just too much sell side setting there. All right, so moving on. Looks good so far. I mean, it looks like it's trying to hold. It's still very early. Let me just... Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Let me see. Good morning, Mr. Tom. What is this? Get out of my way. Let the masterclass begin. Yep, that's what we're working on. Nice little bounce there on the 5-minute. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, Michelle. Come on, people. 5 stocks on YouTube chat. All right, so where are you, Brian? Give me 1 second. I'm looking for the stocks. Well, I don't see them, Brian. So let me see. Dun 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 dun. I see where you said good morning, and that's it. WPM. Let's get rid of this and this. WPM is definitely getting killed. Nice weekly rebound there, but it was not at any level at all. So there really is no reason. I mean, I guess one could say it was old resistance, because that would have been resistance there. This would have been the breakout there. And then this is a fresh first time retest of it. So that has to be what it is. This level, like, there's really nothing to do here. Depending on where you're going to open today. Let's see if we got pre-market data. We don't. We don't have pre-market data yet. But there's your weekly. This is the level, not a retest of that level, but I would want to see a pullback into weekly support, 3250. There, that's where I could potentially look to get long. That also lines up beautifully with daily demand. So, I mean, like, that's probably the area where I would be looking for long trades at 3250. That's on WPM. And also, this is precious metals. Metals are getting kind of beat up, have been getting beat up for a while. So maybe it finds support. It looks like it's trying to, but you are not bullish in any sense of the term at all. Not even a little bit. So, but I would watch those two prices. Let's look at WBD. Warner Brothers Discovery. You love finding these stocks that are absolutely de-effing destroyed. I do not know why you want to trade these things. It makes sense if it does get a bounce. It has been trying to get a bounce, but it looks like it's running out of steam. And the bounce isn't even big, right? It's not even big in comparison to like what happened here. You do have a pre-market and you are gapping down. And this is the weekly time frame. So where's 1530? Oh, wait, you're not. Yesterday you closed at 1540, so you're just barely gapping down on the weekly. There's last week's, just watch last week, see what happens. The open of last week, if you get a test of that, not that one, last week. 1465, something down in there, maybe you get support. There really is nothing. I mean, I don't like it at all. I wouldn't even be messing with it. You've got demand right there, so a retest of that potentially. And then GVA, let me get it over off of that. So Bitcoin is bouncing from 22,804.50. So that looks like it wants to bounce. GVA is getting some kind of something going on. It's been in a range for a while. This is the low end of the range. This is where I would have been the buyer, not up here, but down there. There are a couple daily levels to watch, but nothing on the weekly. This chart looks like disgusting garbage. I would not be trading this at all. And you did come down and test it already. So you've pretty much missed the only place that I would have looked for entries. You got a test there on that day, and yesterday you got a test of it. Yesterday you got bullish. So watch daily support, I guess, for any bullish continuation. But you're in the middle of the range. When you're looking at ranges like this, the best trades will be at the top of the range or at the bottom of the range, not in the middle. In the middle, you get chopped up. So like anybody that got long at support there, they got stopped out. Anybody that got long at support there, more than likely got stopped out, because that is a brutal wick. That wick right there took out multiple days lows. So I know anybody that got long from at least July has now been stopped out. All right. So I mean, when you trade in the middle of the range, this is what you deal with. You get stopped out, chopped up. All right, so let me go back to Bitcoin because it is moving and we are watching it. Let's go to the 5-minute time frame here. So this is the level right there. That is the hourly demand. I'll show you that once again. I don't like it as far as risk to reward goes, but that is a pretty decent bounce. So now what we can do is we can watch a test of 5-minute support if you get it. If not, we'll probably have missed it. The better risk to reward trade is down there, and that's only if it holds. So we'll see what happens here. See if you get another tag of this level. If you do, maybe go ahead and take a long, but just understand that your risk to reward is disgusting. Your low of day would be down here. So essentially that's all of your risk, and your reward is there. There's just nothing there for this range. If you get above that and stuff like that, then yeah, that would start to look really good. But it's one of those things. What is the SPX doing? Is it trying to get bullish? It is. Let's see if its price action is identical. It is not. Well, it kind of is. All right. That would be demand on the SPX. This is supply. It's a daily supply. That's where she rolled over. We did get a close up above the supply level. So when that ever happens for me, technically what I like to wait on is for a test of resistance. But you didn't get it. All you did was you set the close inside of supply. And then on this day, you liquidated this day's high. And that was the trade. So far, it's been straight down. You haven't liquidated this low yet. It doesn't look like a bullish day, right? It looks bearish. If anything, I would probably be looking to short it. But Bitcoin has been pulling back for multiple days. This is the reason why we like Bitcoin, or why we're looking for Bitcoin longs. I mean, that's kind of like a bull flag. Yesterday, I really thought we were going to go, right? I did not think that this is what we would see today. I thought yesterday that this was going to be the bottom of the bull flag, this little bull flag right here, and then see ya. But it didn't happen. We got one more lower day, and we liquidated this day's low already. And that's kind of where we're stuck at. So let's get rid of this level for a second, and there, and go back into the hourly. Remember, this is yesterday's low, this white line. So yeah, I mean, you might be leaving this area pretty soon based on that info alone. So, maybe that was the trade to take and we missed it. We'll see. We'll see. Good morning. Could we look at gold? Yeah. Just give me a second. I don't want to miss this if it's getting ready to move away from this area. I just want to kind of see what it's working on here. This is the previous day, or the previous day low situated with this support demand. So yesterday's low demand, price is like having a little bit of difficulty, but the hour just opened. And point of control is setting above us. To be honest with you, I would like this trade a lot better if the point of control was down here. A lot better. This almost looks like a short setup to me. It's just that reaction once you liquidated yesterday's low. But you liquidated it many times. So, I don't know. It was holding a support, then we got 2 more hours of a push lower. So something like this. We didn't take out this candle's low, but we did take out this candle's high. So essentially what we have here is a trap. Because here's support, lower support, this was support, you broke down, now you're pushing lower. Yeah, it just looks like a short. We want to take the long though, because we think that it's going to go higher. Here's the thing. So forget everything I talked about and let's just look at this. This is the level that I want to be a buyer at, or wanted to be a buyer at. This is $22,583. It is last week's open. You might not get a test of it. And we traded very close to it. Right? So if we go back intraday, there it is. You are not that far from it. So It's one of those things. It looks like a short to me. And if you get down here, right here, if you get there, that's the level at which I would much rather be a buyer. So you might just, today might just be a set on our hands day, right? But this is daily support or intraday support. So a tag of that and a rejection will have me looking for longs. Back up to intraday resistance, 22,896. But price could eventually mosey on down to here today, struggle down here for several hours, and then get a massive bullish candle out of there. That would be the reaction I would want to see. As of right now, trying to get long, even yesterday, trying to get long is like going against the current, right? The trend is down. The order flow is obviously down. So anywhere you try to pick a bottom for a long position, the risk is a lot more. It's like it's just not good, right? We typically look to short if order flow is going lower. We look for swing highs to sell into. We're just bullish on Bitcoin, and that bullish bias can blind you to the right trade. So acting as a trader, we just have to, kind of sit on our hands, watch price, see what it wants to do. On Bitget, we have totally annihilated that hourly demand level on a 5-minute closing basis. So let me show you what I mean. There you go. That's annihilation. Annihilation. Break below, please. Joe must be short. ETH is in an area of previous daily resistance. Flip to support would look good. Well, let's go look at ETH because Bitcoin is we probably want to watch Bitcoin here and then potentially the weekly level, but that's a much further push down there to the weekly level. That means today would have just simply been a short trade. And you said it's into an old area of daily res. You are right. There it is. But it's one of those levels that I don't like because you broke out above it, then you broke back down below it, then you broke out back above it. You know what I mean? Is it possible to hold? Yeah, it is. But you're already down below your weekly open on ETH. Doesn't mean it won't come back up. I'm just saying, currently, like this is the level at which I'm looking to get long on Bitcoin, and ETH is already below it. That doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for me. And ETH is down 3.21% on the day. Yeah, it could hold. It could hold. We'll see. This is the resistance level I would have liked a lot better because you retested it there and you're breaking down. So we may be wrong on looking for Bitcoin support. That's what makes trading. Right? That's the same level I'm looking for Bitcoin to test, and ETH is already broken well below it. But they're not the same assets or the same asset class. I mean, they are the same asset class, but not the same asset. All right, I'm back. Here we go. Come on, Bitcoin, push down there and then get a bounce. Give us a trade today. What is pound dollar doing? It's trying to go. And then what's Euro Aussie doing? Nope. So we closed above the level that I would have been looking for potential longs at, which is there. But you're trading well below it. That's not what I want to see. So on Euro Aussie, if we liquidate this swing low here, which is the lowest swing low inside of the daily range, then if you get a rebound back up to that level, then you could potentially get long there and throw a stop under this wick, and this is your target. So like this. Like this. Obviously don't take the trade now. You are waiting for a liquidation of this wick. Then you need to see price get back up. So once you get back up, then you can throw the wick under, or the stop under whatever wick this leaves. And then you are targeting daily res. intraday res. It's almost a 3-to-1 risk to reward, but in order to take the signal, you got to get back above 1.47377 after liquidating that low. And technically, I would much rather see that, but it doesn't mean it will happen. This is intraday support. And since we just started we started 39 minutes ago, the hourly candle, you got 20 minutes left on the close. Goodness gracious. All right, so what was that? So we're just kind of waiting. Let me get back over on Bitcoin. Got orders set. And Bitget. On Bitget, the price, let me see. Let me just make sure that they're right before I start spouting out prices. Yeah, on Bitget, the price that I'm looking for support to hold is $22,697. And there is no change. It's just 22697. And then hourly support that got the bounce is 22673. So there's an hourly support right above the weekly level. Right there. This is the weekly level. There is the support that caused Bitcoin to bounce this morning. Right there. So you just essentially traded down to that support, and that's what you got the bounce. You came in for a retest when this candle opened, and then you got your expansion. This bearish candle doesn't scare me at all. If we stay here, like if it tags this and starts to bounce, this will be the entry for me. And then if it wants to go down and tag the weekly level, I'll eat a stop. But we're doing pretty good this week. We nailed a great trade on Bitcoin yesterday. The trade on USD JPY is even better. And then the Aussie dollar short is a monster. So, it's been a good week already. And it's just Tuesday. Yeah. Love it. All right. So I got an alert set. Let me go look at Brian's last stock. Crowd Snap. Or there's two. If this one looks like those other five, other four, I'm going to be upset with you. We discussed this already. Nope, this one looks much better. Yeah, now something like this looks much better. You just hit lows of 56%. So that means something, right? Obviously, the markets, when they were crushing all the other things, they didn't crush this one as bad. And you're getting a bounce. But this is probably going to be just the same bounce that we're viewing on the SPX and other markets. But you do have a clear and obvious weekly support. And you are currently trading very close to it. Daily support's all the way down there. So 177.90 or 169.17. This is the range. So this is obviously the price at which I would much rather get long, down there at 169.17. And then obviously if this is just a bull market or a bear market rally on the SPX and Bitcoin and everything else, if it's just a bear market rally, this is likely to come back down to the lows. And that goes for every stock. And Snap is at lows currently. Snapchat getting beat up. Down 88%. Woo! Does people still use this? I don't use it, so I don't know. But I'm sure kids probably do. And other people. There is the weekly support level. It held here beautifully. You have held here again, but you are in it again. Pre-market, you're above it. So $9.48 on Snapchat today. A wick down to there. Bing. You want to see that hold. A wick. A 5-minute push down on the open. As long as it starts to get back above it, I would take a chance on it. But, looking at this, It looks like the sellers are setting right up there, man. They just can't get anything going, the bulls. So once you get above $10, you're probably going to see this thing rocket ship, because that's where the sellers are setting. But I'd still take a chance at it, right? You can't sell it down here because you're at support and you cannot short into support. So it would be a good risk to reward for me to take it. We'll watch Snap when it opens. We got Snap on watch. All right. Snap on watch. We like $9.48 for potential longs. Or if you're buying calls, you want to buy the 9.50 or 9.48 strike. If you have that opportunity, you probably don't. You probably can only buy $9 strikes or $10 strikes. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me pull up my laptop. Bear with me one moment. It'll take a minute, but I just need to get it up and running. There's someone outside yelling. Don't make me have to come out there and put the smack down on you fools. Alright, let me see here. Let's go back to Bitcoin while we're waiting on Thinkorswim to load up. I just want to check the option chain on Snap. And there. Let me get this pulled up. Alright, so Bitcoin's still playing around. This is the 200. What it's playing with. Right? That's your 200. Ignore the spike up. This is the 200 right through there. So that's where there's a lot of volume there. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the point of control doesn't move down to that price. Let's see if we're seeing any intraday or time volume getting any bigger. It's not. There, I mean, volume by time, I never found an edge on it. That's why I hardly ever look at it. I only have it on the charts for a lot of the people that, follow the channel. They like to see it. So, but yeah, that's what it's struggling at currently. We're waiting for 22,719. If we're under this and we get back above this at 9 o'clock, then that means that is going to be an hourly candle hold on demand. And then it will start to become looking a little bit more enticing. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Do you stay in Bitcoin when you close a trade, or do you move to USD? No. When I close the trade, I only close a portion of the profits because I always leave a small piece on for continuation. That is the best way, in my opinion, in my professional opinion, to catch a swing trade. All right. So just because I'm an intraday operator, I am looking for that razor sharp entry on the intraday time frame. But obviously, I like it when it turns into a multi-day trade, because by taking 2/3 of the position size off, or roughly 65% of the position, you're leaving on that small portion. So if you catch a 2 or 3 day continuation trade, your profits on that small position are going to exceed those profits that you took on the original trade. And you did that with zero risk on the table. The only thing you're risking when you take profits off of the day trade is the unrealized P&L. You have already took your risk off. It's already out of the market and you profited. So to me, that's the best way to catch a swing trade. So let me just throw up. Well, I'll show you later. I'll go back to that. Let me see here. I know I won't be able to get a legit option pricing until the market opens, but I want to have that ready to go. So yeah, I mean, I'll show you what I mean. If you were here for yesterday's stream, I showed you on USD JPY what that looks like. I took a day trade at what I thought was going to be the top. I got short and I had my stop situated. So originally I took the trade. There was the stab into the level that we like. And let's see what happens from here. So this, if this level holds, this is the level to get long. And then once again, you're targeting intraday resistance, which is up here. If this holds. This is the original hourly support just above the weekly. Down here is the weekly, but you might not be able to see it. Down here is the weekly original hourly support, and then our intraday hourly support. So there's like really 3 prices down here that I don't mind taking a long at, right? I'm okay to be wrong at either one of these 2 places if this place holds. And if I'm wrong there, then whatever. I'll just wait for the next area of potential support. We don't know where price is going to find support. I can't say that this will hold as support. It's impossible to know. Just like I can't say if this will hold as support. It's impossible to know. But those are the best places to take trades for sure. But anyways, back to the USD JPY trade. I caught that at the top when I got to my target, which was intraday support. It was right above the low of day for that day. I took 2/3 of the position size off, right? Moved my stop to break even. Now that trade has been on for multiple days. And it is much bigger of a position now as far as profit-wise than the original day trade. So it's just the way that I do things because that's the way that I make the most money in the markets. It gives me the ability to take the absolute best swing trades possible. Now, with this being said, it rarely happens that way. All right? Because I am a day trader. So even though each time I take a trade, there is that potential to be in a multi-day, multi-week, multi-month trade. The majority of them get stopped out at break even. But once again, that's after I already took profits off the trade. I already paid myself for taking the risk and I had 0 risk on the table. And that's the goal, is to keep your account's equity curve moving up, not down. If your account equity curve is moving down, you are doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. Being a day trader is the most difficult way to learn how to trade, guys. I'm not even going to lie to you. But if you continue to want to learn it, I'm going to continue to show you how I do it. It's just all I can do. But it is the most risky and most difficult style of trading. It's a little bit more difficult to manage risk on something like Bitcoin. You can take 1% trades on it. With Bitget, you couldn't, unless you physically done the math yourself. You couldn't do it on KuCoin. You could only take trades, like if you use their calculator, at 5% is what you would be risking. 5% on a, levered trade is not going to be very far, right? So like if we were taking this same trade and I was using 20x leverage, a 5% loss would be down there, maybe. So you just have to do the math yourself, and you can do the math yourself. Depending on how much leverage you're using and how wide your stop is, you can take 1% losses. I do anywhere from 2 to 5. Because, Bitcoin, if you nail a trade with a very tight entry and you get like you're on 20x leverage, that trade's going to pay you so much quickly. So here is the level that I want to see hold support. That is the potential entry. That is hourly support. Oh, no, wait, we're below hourly support. This is the original hour support. This is the hourly support that I want to see hold there. Got to see that hold. If this closes below, then I will not be looking to get long either one of these places. If this closes below, I'm going to wait for this 22,583. That's the weekly. And Ethereum is already trading well below that. Well below it. So let's pull up Ethereum down here and see how it's trading relative to that level. So I'm thinking that that bullish candle is it. Here. So yeah, that level is actually acting as resistance for ETH. I don't like that. I mean, they're not the same asset, but, you know, that's holding as resistance. And you're getting downside continuation. That's not pretty. You got 4 minutes left on the candle closure. So I need to see this thing get to moving back to the upside. All right, let's move down here and let's just see if we got to get on the 5 minute for it. Let's just see if the point of control has migrated anywhere. And it has not. It is still standing firm up there. Not the prettiest day. Love hearing you think out loud. Yeah, I mean, that's why I started doing it this way. I figured it would help you guys better than just me telling you the same things over and over and over again. 4 minutes still left on the hourly close. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold in a minute, Caleb. Just give me a second because I'm kind of keeping my eyes on this right here. Welcome back, Prophet, wherever you were, I guess, because you missed me. Welcome back. Oh, well, I was gone last week, so maybe that's what you mean. Just moved to MT5. How much volume is equal to 1 Bitcoin? Oh, I don't know. I've never traded on MT5. I've never used MetaTrader, period, ever. Oanda's always been the broker that I've used for FX, and TradingView links up with Oanda and has for as long as I can remember. So I've just used TradingView to take my trades on Oanda. And now I have an FX.com broker that I've been using. I use them both still, actively. Great, catching 4 strings in a row. Nice job. Still got 3 minutes left, and this is the support. So getting back above that on a close would be nice. It still doesn't mean that it's out of the woods, but it's definitely nice. And see how this is happening right before the close. This is why I stress to you guys to wait on hourly closes. Get off the 5 minute. Wait on hourly closes. Closing above does not mean you're out of the woods and that this trade's going to work. But it is better than closing under the support, right? Because if you close under the support, that instantly shuts the trade down. Instantly. So that's the entry there. And as long as you're closed above it, that's the entry. Remember, target 22,892. I like when I jump in here and only understand like 15% of what you're saying, but still get something out of it. Just keep coming, man. Just keep coming because I don't change anything. I am as consistent as you're going to find for any YouTuber. I don't change things up just because it's not working. This is the strategy. It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day here as well. Hot, but beautiful. Looks droopy. It does. It does look droopy. Taking along here is scary. I know. It is to me too, because the point of control is setting above resistance. Yeah, I don't like that. Typically, I like to take the trades when the point of control is on my side. It's just essentially what I'm doing is what you never should do, is letting my my long bias affect what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing, you short the highs, right? Every time you get a swing high, you look for a short. But to be fair, also, this isn't a pullback, isn't like a vicious pullback. This doesn't look like heavy selling there, heavy selling there. This looks like a slow, methodical pullback, almost like profit taking from the move up, more so than the short selling. And if that's the case, then, I'd like to see a big, strong, bullish candle. But you can see this little channel here is kind of holding pretty decent. So, yeah, shorting swing highs wouldn't have been a bad idea for the last couple days. But, it is what it is, right? And if you want to be on the safe side, you can wait until you get above that trend before you start looking for long trades. I don't mind that either. It's actually the best way to trade. And the way you would do that is you would just, this day will close somewhere. And then the next day, if you break out above the trend, you wait for the following day for a retest of daily support. And that's your entry. And you have, it's as best of a confirmation as you're going to get that the trend has potentially changed. So come in for another test of support. I like that. I like that a lot. Now we'll see if we get on up. Get on up. Let's check our time volume. Lots of volume coming in on these last two 5-minute candles. That's really cool. Because a lot of times people that, your rising volume can say a trend change, for instance, or a price change, directional change. Lots of volume being thrown down right there on those last two 5-minute candles. So is there more buying going on there than selling? We'll know in the next 15 or 20 minutes. Well, 30 minutes, because the stock market will be open. So if you're currently long, your stop needs to be low of day. And that is here. Right there. That is where your stop should be. And then if you look at that entry versus stop, your 2-to-1 is well before daily support. That's also why I said at the beginning of the stream, the risk to reward is better here than up there at demand, right? Much better. Because now you don't even need to get all the way up to intraday resistance in order to make a 2-to-1 risk to reward. You will make a 2-to-1 risk to reward under a supply zone. It's just a way to operate inside of the daily range. But not out of the woods yet. 30 minutes we'll know if we're good or not, more than likely. If it don't happen before then, right? If it doesn't get under the low before then. That will be up to you to decide on if you want to wait for a liquidation of the low or just wait for a test of this down here. Because it is possible that you get down there today. You could get down there in one big, girthy 5-minute candle. Quickly, you could be there. That is 22,583. That is there. We got it open. We got it ready. We're watching. We're seeing what's happening. We'll be here for a minute. Your stop is pretty tight here if it moves away with close above intraday hourly. Yeah, it is very tight. It's the way to manage risk. If we are trading below the low of day or closing hourlies below hourly support, we don't want to be in a trade anyways, right? Because we're probably wrong. That's the way you manage risk. You don't try to inflect your will upon the market. You don't get stopped out and re-enter here or there or whatever. You just wait for the next day. There's opportunities inside of Bitcoin every single day. Every single day. There's an opportunity to take a trade in Bitcoin and an opportunity to be profitable trade every day. Every day. Good evening from Asia. Nice. Really enjoying the stream today. Thank you. Thank you for being here. There's 94 of you here. Yesterday we had a peak viewership of 81, so we've already beat that. Do you still have longs from 19? Yes, that is in my hodl position, Will. I have a hodl position that I have a cold storage wallet. So essentially when we were trading down, to it, I bought it. The monthly low. I bought the monthly low in the hodl position. I also took a trade on the position that I use leverage on as well, right? So in both accounts essentially. And right now on Bitget, I have 2 accounts, well now 3 accounts on Bitget. I have a Tether USDT account that I trade Bitcoin to make Tether. I also have a USDC account that I just opened today, and I have a Bitcoin account that I trade the inverse swap contract on. So like currently, yesterday, I took the trade on that, right? On the Bitcoin versus Bitcoin account, on the inverse swap contract, because that gives me the ability to make more Bitcoin. I don't need to make more Tether. I do it, but it's not the one I focus mostly on, right? I want more Bitcoin, so I trade the inverse swap contract the most. So we're getting a nice little push off of the level that we were watching. Remember, this is a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So if you took that entry there, as soon as you get there, you drop 2/3 of the trade or 75% or whatever. I won't be able to give you the calls until the market opens, Brian. I have Thinkorswim open, but the prices are not legit right now. So you gotta wait till the market opens. Then the prices on the contracts will be more legit. So if we go 17 days out, for instance, so you're looking at August 19th as the expiration on Snap, because on that option chain, it gives you the ability to buy in 50-cent increments instead of dollar increments. So if 9.40 was the price we were looking for on Snap, then that means you're going to be looking for $9.50 calls. At least 2 weeks out. That gives a trade 2 weeks to work. And only by the amount of contracts that's relevant to 1% of total account value. All right. As of right now, the 9.5 strike call on the option chain is 54 cents per contract. That is not the real price. That price will change upon market open. It'll probably be more expensive than that. And also, we got to kind of keep an eye on the open of Snap. But we're 23 minutes from that. Every day and any time. Exactly. For opportunities. Yeah. I don't trade anytime. My trades happen from 7 to 10. On the stocks, like options and stuff like that, sometimes I'll take trades a little bit later than that, but not really, right? Not really. I try to get in the first 25 minutes of the day if I can. If I can. How's the SPX looking? It was looking like Bitcoin. We don't even have it. Let's get it. Let's get it over here. It's finding some support. You got the last 3 hours have closed bullish. Right here is your intraday support. Damn it. My finger getting a little bit clicky. There. 40.86 spot 80 is intraday support on the SPX, and it's held. I mean, there was a nice hold. You're currently moving away from it. ETH still at intraday support. So like if you're looking at ETH for potential trades, bullish trades on ETH, you would be watching 1570 spot 59 right there. This is last week's open and it is acting as resistance. But this is the price at which you would be looking for long trades on ETH. And then as soon as you get to this area right here, 40.97, you're probably going to see some resistance. Here, let me pull up. I wish you guys would stop pinging me in Discord because it comes through to the stream. Volume session profile right there. And once again on this as well, your volume profile point of control is above. But if you look at this node currently, you are very close to changing the point of control. And then this node just spiked a little bit right there. So sellers are jumping in here. And then on Bitcoin, if you took the entry for a perfect 2-to-1 risk to reward, or a little bit better than 2-to-1, it's 2.23 to 1, you would be taking profits there. It's 22857, spot 46. That is your profit target. And then you take some profits off, move your stop. That takes your risk completely out of the market. And you booked some cash. And SPX just got up to the point of control and to intraday resistance. Well, the first intraday resistance. That looks good for our trade. All right. That sounds good for us. Oh, I want to get rid of this. Thank you. We know where the point of control is. There's intraday resistance. So like if you were taking a day trade on the SPX, like if you're able to trade this CFD, I cannot, because in America we are not allowed to trade CFDs. Then, you know, you just, this would have been your area for entry. You got a retest of it there because this is support. You traded a full hour and you confirmed support by closing back above it. Then you came in for a test of it here. And you can look at that on the 5-minute chart and see it take place. You didn't get a perfect test of it over here, but this candle did. This candle opened, tagged the level, and you left. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. There is your profit target on Bitcoin. Take profits. Take profits. Move your stops to break even. And then if this ends up being the weekly low, I know we were trying to target the weekly low yesterday. We were unsuccessful in that. But the trade we took was profitable, was successful. And that's how you become successful in this game. Since you don't know what price is going to do, you have to figure out a way to maintain profitability. And this is the way I do it. You don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. Currently, we are back above demand on Bitcoin. Here is demand. We are trading above it. So there is your profit target met. So give yourselves a round of applause if you got long and if you took profits. And now you just sit and wait and see what happens. If you get stopped out in a couple hours, then we'll know that we were wrong. If you look at your computer screen in a couple hours and you're making more money, good, perfect, beautiful. That could be the weekly low. No one knows for sure. We won't know until, we get more price action. Won't know until we get more price action. But that's what we were looking for. Hourly res is a little bit higher. But if I'm at a perfect 2-to-1, I'll take profits, especially if I don't like the trade, right? If I don't like it, if it doesn't look like my beautiful setup. You're also going to experience volume here from sellers. This is supply. And this is a legit short trade entry. If I was looking or had a short bias, right? If I was looking for a short trade, this would have been the trade I would have taken. But we're not. We're looking for Bitcoin to find the weekly low. On the first couple days of the week, I'm always looking for the weekly low. And if I have a short bias, this is the thing. I'm looking for the weekly high. So if you had a short bias, you would have been looking to get short on the weekly open wherever you thought the weekly high would be. Here was the weekly resistance. There's your weekly open. So when you traded up there, that was when you would have been looking for your short entry. That doesn't look right at all. Oh, okay, yeah, because I'm looking at all that. That was the previous week's range. This is your weekly high, so mark that and see if it lines up with any corresponding levels. We know it doesn't line up with any dailies, all right? So there is the weekly high. So that would have been, potential short entry. You wouldn't have taken it on this close because you closed above weekly or intraday resistance. But once you started trading back under it, any push back up into it, like say here, would have been the entry. So this is essentially your short or your range. This is your weekly range as of right now. This is your weekly high. Not a very big weekly range, is it? No. And in fact, 2 good bullish days, you'll be right back above that. Right? Right back above it. And then we will more than likely have called the weekly low. But as of right now, that's your short side weekly entry if you have a short bias. Remember, we had a bullish bias coming into this week. So yesterday and today, we are trying to find the weekly low, and this marks 2 successful trades. So we are batting 100%, even though we were wrong directional both days. Well, today hasn't played out yet, but you get what I'm trying to say. Even though we were wrong directionally yesterday, we still had a successful trade, and we were looking at trying to nail the weekly low. And we might do that today, which is the goal. So like if this does end up becoming the weekly low and we start trading up well above it, say we get up in this area and whatnot, then, will I be looking to enter more long positions? Yeah, if we form supports. Moving up, we got to form supports, and then we'll look for new entries to go higher. That will destroy this cost basis though, but it will be under the next support. And we follow price, right? We trade price. We trade what price does. We are price action traders. Do you already have a set limit order, or do you execute market order if level holds? No, I do limit orders because limit orders are cheaper as far as fees are concerned. So yeah, I set a limit order there, and then it triggered when the first 5-minute candle tacked it. So, that also, when it brings you into the market, it also executes a short stop or a stop loss as well. So like when this candle pushed down to it, this was my entry. That candle pushed down and damn near would have stopped me out all in one fell swoop. That has happened before. Right? I have been entered into a trade and stopped out 1 second later because of that. The best way to do it is to just wait until price gets back above your level. So on this 5-minute candle, once you got back above the level, you take a market order there. Or you can set a limit order, but you have to get filled on the down tick, and you would not have been filled on a down tick more than likely. Because I don't know, maybe as this candle was forming, it did get up barely and then came back in for a split second and filled any limits that were set like that. I don't know. In order to get the maker fees, you have to get filled on a buy limit on a down tick. Buy limit on a down tick. In order to be a short maker fee, you have to get filled on an uptick, on a sell limit on an uptick. That's how you get the fees, the short or the good fees, the good stuffs. Are they fully closed? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you still have longs from 19? Yes, I did. I answered that. Perfect. Beautiful. July 28th. Got that. Good morning from Chile. Good morning, my friend. So when you take leverage or a levered trade, you're actually adding to a prior position. Yeah, I mean, not adding to the position. I don't take levered trades in the HODL account. The HODL account is essentially just spot. When I take levered trades on the inverse swap contract, then if I'm in it for a few days, but then a new support level gets tagged and I think the direction is going to continue up, then yeah, I will re-enter with a full-size position, again, that will destroy the cost basis. It will bring your cost basis up, but it'll still be under the support that you're buying at. And then you take profits again the same way, right? And you just keep doing that up and up and up. Or you can just take one trade if you think you've nailed the weekly low and just sit back and wait and see if you did. But still take profits because you're taking the trade based on an intraday level. So you gotta take profits intraday. If you're taking a trade based off of a weekly level, you're going to have a much wider stop loss and a much smaller position size. Because in order to maintain a 1% loss, you're going to have a much smaller position size. This is why I try to operate inside the day, because I want to have a much bigger position size. So essentially, once I've taken 2/3 of the position off, if I just set and let it, ride, then it's about the same size of a trade if I would have taken it off of a weekly level with a wider stop and smaller position, right? So by doing it this way, I essentially kill two birds with one stone. And that's all I'm trying to do, right? Hopefully that helps. Stop loss leads to be under the wick more to the left. Not really, because if we're trading under this, especially on a close, because remember, this was at 8:50, and the close is at 9 o'clock. So here it looks very bearish. You got 10 minutes left on the close. It looks like you're going to lose. And then the very next 5-minute candle, you get a bullish move up, and then another bullish move up. So this candle close was your hourly close. Right there. That was your hourly close. Right there. So that's how it works. I've seen this happen within the last 2 minutes of an hourly close. Been exceedingly bearish, nasty as hell, and then get a big 5-minute candle to get the close back above the level. Right? I told you, sellers are up here. The point of control is up there. That is why we were looking to take profits out of 2-to-1. The order flow is bearish. You can clearly see that. So the sellers were up here yesterday. Now the sellers have migrated lower. Now the sellers are up here. There's the point of control. Right there. So this is where your sellers are setting. So essentially this is just a bounce trade, but we're kind of hoping that it holds, right? And if we get stopped out, oh well. We've already made money. We are good. So since we are good, let's go over here and look at whatever. Euro Aussie looks like it's setting up. We got an hourly close. No, we didn't. See there? And there was that. So that would have been your entry. We already set this trade up as well. Let's go ahead and just try it. 1%, and we'll set a 25% stop loss. Boom. Right? That's what we're looking for there. We wanted to see a liquidation of the daily low, or of this wick low, because it is the lowest wick in this support zone. We seen a close back above the level, and then we liquidated that, and now we got right back up there. So, yeah, you typically want to see it continue. You don't want to see it just dead stop there. And then we were targeting resistance, intraday resistance, which is there. Almost the high of day. Euro is still weak though. This trade was based solely on your Aussie weakness, not Euro strength. It's Aussie weakness. Because Aussie is extremely weak on the day. So we'll come back and check on that one, and then let's look at pound dollar. Did it set up for a short? No. It didn't, which we haven't taken the trade yet because you got an hourly close above resistance. So that means you leave it alone. We didn't take the trade yet. We were looking at it potentially setting up. And it could still end up setting up, but I don't like it. I mean, you're getting late in the day for taking FX trades. And that was a very big liquidation run. I mean, it got well up there. So this is probably going to act as support now. Or if it breaks down, I don't like this anymore, right? I just don't even like the way it looks. This is up almost 90, almost a whole percent. So if it's going to be bullish, then this should be when it becomes bullish. The better entry would have been there once you got back above that. Because that's your liquidation point. That's the stop run, essentially. So anybody that got long, like here, right? This candle didn't take them out. This one sure did. And now they're mad because the market makers got them. But they just didn't know to just wait until this happens. Wait on the liquidation before you get long. The liquidation won't always happen, though, because we were waiting for Aussie Swiss to do the same thing. And it did not do it. Did not do it. We were waiting on that liquidation. This is the liquidation line. Didn't do it. But we did get short, or I did get short Aussie dollar before we started the stream. So we'll see. We'll move on back over to Bitcoin. That's supply, so that's why you're seeing a lot of reaction there. That's typically where us trade talkers would be looking to get short if we had a down bias, if we had a short side bias. We just don't. Right? We just don't. We got 9:26. We got 4 minutes until 9:30. So if you didn't take profits, do it now because there's a good chance that you get a big dump at 9:30. Obviously, I would love to see the volume come in and then this thing just start moving up, up, and up. But there's no guarantee that's going to happen, and we know the sellers are up here at 22,300 bucks. That's where the sellers are sitting, and they're getting lower each time. So they're getting more aggressive. That's what I'm talking about, says Parnick. Yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. From 19K. Yeah, no. Taking trades just before the SPX feel real risky when stops can get eaten so easily. Yeah, it is, but remember the New York session, the real New York session opens at 8:30. That's when the majority of the volume comes in for FX. 8 o'clock, not 8:30, 8 o'clock. 9:30 is just the stock market open. Heath, the long short tool works for me on Bitget. Awesome. Good morning, Crypto Trades and Tech. Welcome back, my friend. Use the tool and go into settings and enter your criteria. I will give that a look-see. I will give that a look-see. Yeah, I mean, most of the time your stop loss is going to be a market order. There might be a way to change it to a limit order, but just understand that if your stop loss is as a limit order, you might get filled lower than you want to be, right? Because a limit order is going to give you the best price around the area that you want. It's not going to fill you exactly at the price you want, whereas a stop loss market will take you out at the exact price you want to get out. But once again, obviously the fees are a little bit more expensive when you do it that way. Catch you in the Discord. All right, Jason. Hello from a fellow CTMer. I took your trade yesterday and today and booked some good profits. Big thank you from me. You're welcome, my friend. It won't always work out like that, but it will work like that more than it doesn't. Just make sure you're taking profits and, setting stops and all that. And don't use too much leverage, because the more leverage you use, you probably wouldn't have even made any money on this move, right? If you got your leverage jacked up to 100x Even if you got up there, you would not have gotten, who knows, maybe nothing. Maybe you would have lost money because the fees would have destroyed your profits. What level do you take on the intra trades then? What? What's an intra trade? What level do you take the intra trades from? We just took an intraday trade based off of hourly support, the intraday levels. Can you day trade Bitcoin every day and take profits every time and still be as successful as if you hold? I am more successful than if you just hold. 100% more successful than any just hodler. Because I have a hodler account, right? So I'm going to make just as much profit as any other Tom, Dick, or Harry that bought at $3,500, right? I was in it too. But my trading account, when it gets to a certain size, I dump those profits into the hodl account, right? So that essentially I am booking double the gains, if not triple the gains, that someone who hodled in the entire down move. And also remember, in October, November, I was telling people to start shorting Bitcoin. We were looking for Bitcoin's top based on the Fed. We were shorting Bitcoin. Everybody called me dumb. I didn't know what I was talking about. I lost probably a good 1,000 followers and 1,000 subscribers because I was pretty much the only person at that time talking about bearish Bitcoin. And people hate it. They hate it. They hate it. But, I mean, I crushed it on the downside as well. So my HODL account was getting smaller, but because I was dumping funds into it from the trading account, I booked gains on the way down. In my opinion, trading is the best way to make a living on anything. You just got to be very clear and realistic on what you're looking for. If you're looking for 20% per week, that is not realistic. The best traders in the world book 15 to 20% per year, right? That's realistic. What do I book? Well, that's really nobody's business. But I can promise you one thing, my KuCoin account, when the bear market was fully in swing, I 5x'd it on the way down. I 5x'd my money on the way down. And since this year ain't over yet, and now I'm at a new exchange, we'll see if I can do the same thing, right? So I'm doing well better than 12 to 20% per year. Sometimes I can nail 20% in a week. Those are outsized weeks, obviously. So 9:30's here, guys, and we got what we wanted. So let me look at the calls that Brian Rubin wanted me to look at. And let's get over here because we're pretty much done with Bitcoin. We've already made our money, and our stops are moved to break even. So whatever happens now happens. There's nothing we can do about it. Snap did not go down and tag the level we wanted. We wanted it to tag 940. So we would have been looking to buy 950 calls. And right now, there they go. The 950 calls are 47 cents on the August 19th expiry. But this would have been like kind of sort of the move you wanted to catch, right? But I mean, it's a swing trade essentially, right? It's essentially a swing trade. So if you get a retest of 948 in the next couple days, then look for calls then. But still go out a couple weeks on the expiry. What we wanted to see was we wanted the market to open. We wanted a wick down to 948. It just went down a little bit. So it didn't work, but it would have been beautiful. And also my options prices didn't start moving until just about 30 seconds ago. So 3 minutes after the market opened. With this brokerage, I cannot trade options when the market is closed. Maybe the brokerage that you guys use, you can, but I can't. Come on, Mr. Brian. Do it on the chat. I can't kill that buzzing sound. And I have two computers open. All right, so he's not listening, obviously. All right, close that down. So that way I don't have so many bops, bleeps going on here. That would have been, a decent move to get in. You still wouldn't have made any money on options. I mean, your position would be up a little bit, but you need to move full dollars in order to see options generate cash. You know what I'm saying? Options generate cash when you're moving like complete dollars. And especially on a low beta stock. So when your options are literally 50 cents for 100 contracts, that's cheap, right? That option's not going to move as much as, say, a Tesla option would. Tesla's a high beta stock. So when you buy options on Tesla, them prices fluctuate much quicker, much bigger fluctuations. This option right now would probably be up 15, 20 cents. But this is more for a long-term hold because of where we were. Right? Because of where we were. You're down here on the bottom for multiple days. This is an old-ass weekly support. And that weekly support has held every single time it has been tested. So the risk is, yeah, you want to get long there. It just didn't get there. You didn't get there yesterday either. You did get there this day. And you got essentially the same size move off of it. Boom. Up. Now, if you're day trading this instead of buying options, you could have taken 1,000 shares of that. And then, then when you're moving 10, 15, 20 cents, you're making good money. But that goes the same in the negative direction as well. So keep that in mind. If you're buying 1,000 shares of anything, the fluctuations are big. So I think, what is it? It's like $10 on 1,000 or 10 cents on 1,000 shares. Yeah, you can do the math. So what do we do on Bitcoin? Because I got to keep flipping back over. So Bitcoin is struggling still. The sellers are setting up there. It's going to be difficult to get back over there. I did like this little move because it did give people that didn't take profits up here a chance to take profits again. Remember, order flow is bearish. So we're fighting against the trend here. Fighting against the trend. But if this is going to be the weekly low, then this kind of price action is 100% normal as well. Because we got to exhaust those sellers. Exhausting the sellers would give us a nice, big, strong, bullish candle right the F out of there. Boom! See ya! And then we are positioned, potentially, at the low of the week. Look at that. That looks beautiful on a big, bearish weekly candle, don't it? There's our trade right there. So we might have caught the low of the week. We'll know. If we get a fresh low, we'll be stopped out of the trade. And then we'll look for, maybe tomorrow or the next day, we'll look for another support. If we start closing dailies under this weekly level, my bullish bias will change, guys. My bullish bias will change. In fact, we're getting really close. If not, we're getting really, really close to my bullish bias changing. If we close daily candles under this 21 exponential moving average, that puts you back under the 50 on the RSI. That means I no longer look for bullish entries then, right? In a choppy market, this is a terrible way to trade. But it's the way that I do it. So if I start to get chopped out of some of my trades because, now I'm short because we're under the 21 and then we're back over the 21, then I just will stop trading. I will just wait until we find a support somewhere either above, or I'll look to sell resistance above. I'll take the trades with a lot more, caution, I guess would be the good word to use there. Snap is trading at 983. We were looking for 940 for entry. We did not get it, but it is still pushing up. And then let's just take a look at our hot list here and see if there's anything. Oh my God, AMTD is up 354%. What is this thing? Let's get the moving averages gone. Let's get that gone. What is this? This fits the mold of a penny stock. Looks like a penny stock. You're gapping over just about everything. Let's see. One day you was there. You're getting killed now. Looks like it's getting faded instantly. So this is the riskiest style of trading in the world. Low float penny stocks. The most riskiest style of trading. Let me pull up my scanner here so I can see if this is even a low float. Usually, since this week and Friday, obviously I haven't been doing any of this stuff because the stream has me has me a little bit busy. This one doesn't have much info. It's got a $642 million market cap, so it's not a low float. It don't tell me how many shares are outstanding. Oh yeah, it does. 210 million. Not really a low floater. It doesn't really fit the category, but I guarantee you people are trading it. It's up 380%. 318% now. So what you would do on something like this is you would just wait for intraday support to be formed, if it gets formed. Let this bearish candle finish going down, and then watch that price on the 5-minute time frame to see if it holds. If it doesn't, then you don't take the trade. I can't see. It looks like I could do shares to short here. If I wanted to, I could take the short. But usually I don't like shorting these high float or low float stocks because once they get going, they start squeezing shorts. Man, they can go up another 100, 200% in a day. I mainly focus on Forex and Bitcoin and options. I used to do this all the time, but I don't do it anymore because I'm making more money just trading Bitcoin and Forex. Because it ain't nothing to lose $2,000 in a day in a split second trading those low floaters. Very quick. You can lose a lot of money. And that's, to me, that's just not worth the risk. Intraday trade with leverage. Yeah. What leverage? On Bitcoin currently I'm using 20x. The fees are much higher. I would suggest a new person don't use anything over 5x leverage. That's all I get on stocks. That's all anyone needs. So in Forex, you can be using 50x leverage on the position if you have the margin in the account and still only risk 1%. Does that make sense? But on your 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 profit targets, you're only going to make 2 or 3% on the total account. So that's how I use leverage in FX. But with Bitcoin, it's a little bit different, right? So like if you're using 20x leverage and you just throw a stop anywhere, you could potentially lose 20 to 30% of the account's funds in one trade. So I suggest you stay away from high leverage until you at least are making consistently profitable trades. And even then, like, it's a whole different ball game. So like using 20x leverage, if I wanted a 5% risk, my entries here, my stop would literally be there. Right? That's not fun. I mean, just think of it this way. You're 20xing your position, your account. A 1% move on Bitcoin is a 20% loss on your account. That's what 20x is. A 1% move. So, about the size of the trade we took today was a 1%. So, like, if you would have took the entry there and you would have got down here, you would have lost 20% of your funds. And a 20% loss is difficult to make back. So right now, where we currently are, the percentage I am up on, well, now that this big candle came in, but right now my return on investment is 7%. Right here. So you can see that it wouldn't, if I lose that much there, that's going to be a good 4.5 to 6% loss. Right? Just learn the strategy first. Learn how to take the trades. Learn to look for levels. Watch how price reacts around those levels. Take your trades, but make sure you're not taking them all day long, because the best time to trade is 7 to 10 a.m. That's it. I do not trade after 10 o'clock. Very rarely will I take a trade after 10 o'clock. So, that's just the way it is. Then you just wait till Wednesday. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow, you'll have a new opportunity, a new window of time to look for those high probable areas. The big candles is just because a lot more volume came in due to the New York market. I don't know. People are just tagging the shit out of me. All right, here we go. Come on, Bitcoin. We want to see it get up higher. That's what I want to see. That would kind of make me feel a lot better about this being the low of the week. What amount of leverage do you suggest as a beginner who's been following you for 3 months? No more than 5x. No more than 5x. I mean it. Because you're still going to lose quite a bit of money if you're not good at trading. If you're not good at managing risk. If you're not good at identifying trades. That's where most people struggle, is just to identify a good trade. That's where the struggle is. Once you do that, you basically gained 70% of becoming better at, potentially being profitable. Those are the places to look. Can I mute him? Yeah, I can, but now it's everybody. It's not just one person. There's 8. Thank you very much for the stream, Heath. Absolute fire. You are welcome. Thank you for being here. HKD or AMTD, are they on fire? AMTD is still at 300%. You're not going to get an hourly close until, another 15 minutes. But wherever this thing closes, I would see if that becomes support. Right now, it doesn't look like it's finding support, but it's still early. It might find support. It's up big, so it still has plenty of room to go to the downside. And right there is going to be resistance. And you've already tried to get up above it once, and you got schlocked. What was the other one you wanted to look at? HKD. I don't see that one on there. Let's go look at it. Oh, it's the same. No, it's not the same. Yeah, no. That's a $700 stock. Yeah, this is a $700 stock. And then this one, it says that it is AMTD Digital. And this says AMTD Idea Group. 2 different companies, I guess. Not sure. When you say 7 to 10, you mean Eastern time, right? Yes. Yes, I do. Sorry, I should be more specific. Yes, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. Right now, it is 9:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, literally, if I haven't taken a position at this point in the morning, I likely am not going to. I am more than likely not going to trade. Right? Because at this point in the day, it's just, that's for FX and crypto, right? FX and crypto, because stocks is a little bit different. Usually the high or low is identified in the stock market at 11. So I will go as high as 11 on the stock market. So when 11 o'clock comes and goes, if this is still the high, then that's probably going to be your high of day. And more than likely, it's going to just drift lower for the majority of the day. because that's when the volume comes and goes, right? So like, and even the volume down here, like every 5 minutes, this will more than likely start to go lower unless you tag a specific support or something like that other traders are looking at. Then you might get like a spike of volume, but generally the volume is the highest until 11, and then it starts to slowly drift lower, and then you'll see another increase in volume in the stock market around 3 o'clock, an hour before the close. But I don't trade that late, so I don't look for afternoon opportunities in the stock market. The next biggest runner is this as far as percent gain. These are also the two stocks that are leading the day in volume traded. So this one looks like it may be trying to find support. It's still too early though. We need 10 o'clock to come and go. So right now you just have to watch this little intraday stuff right here, because the 5 minute closes were pretty close. There's not much volume traded in this, so to see a 5 minute close under another 5 minute close is normal, because a lot of times these things won't even open at the same price. Like this candle didn't open at the same price as this candle closed. It opened a little bit higher. That means the liquidity is thin. Thin liquidity means outsized moves even. So that's why a lot of people like trading these things. Right now 194 would be the price to watch. A close under 194 and I'd probably leave it alone. And it's $2. So you could get big long on this thing. You could buy 20,000 shares of this. But that would be a huge risk, because I've seen these things have candles that in 1 minute is like, you know what I mean? They're so dangerous. I learned a lot from you. Seriously, you are very good in comparison to traders on Twitter. Yeah, 90% of those guys aren't traders. 90% of them are just influencers. Amen. Fire session, always appreciated. Thank you, Will. Fantastic session. Can we check Mr. Tesla? Yeah, of course. Yes, we can. Let's see what Tesla's doing. We were looking for pullback. Big strong move on the open, but we got that on the SPX as well. Let's see where we are. Oh, there's going to be the sell place right there. You see how we said that yesterday? Like, this is going to be the area of potential resistance. And look how yesterday closed. Like, you don't get no better than that. So this is this is very, very risky. This is like almost a beautiful short trade on Tesla. And then the next levels of potential support are down here at 799 and 776. So like, people are going to be trying to sell this up here. Will they be successful? Well, if it holds, then probably. If it holds, then probably. The bulk of the volume today is down here, and yesterday's volume, the bulk of it was traded at the lows. So maybe this level doesn't hold as resistance. Right? But this can change. This is literally, it can change quickly. Like a tag of 903.94 will probably cause a node to just get pretty big. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd be looking for any longs right now on it. If anything, I might look for the short, and I might target low a day. But that's only if that price holds. And so far it's looking like it's going to. You didn't get a test of it yet, according to this. You were really close, but you didn't, right? So right now, anybody that got long, they're in great shape. Hopefully they took profits up there, because this is where sellers will be looking to get short. I promise you, there will be sellers there. So don't look for any longs just yet. And down here is where you would be looking for potential entries long again. I know it's a long ways from the 5-minute chart, but trust me, Tesla can get down there quick and in a hurry. There's another price right there that could potentially act as support, and that's the old resistance. It did hold when you broke down and retested it there. So maybe it doesn't go down. It's just a non-event. Either I would be looking for shorts there, or I wouldn't be looking for anything on Tesla. Buys on Tesla's got to be in around support. Really nothing to go by on the weekly. Yeah, not really much to go by on the weekly. If you do take that, just because I said potential short there, make sure you target low of day or around low of day. If you get a perfect tag of that level like you did yesterday, if it works like that, then it'll be easy to mitigate risk on it. It doesn't look like you're going to even get it right now, but it's still plenty of time. If you're struggling to close above that 903.94 by 11 o'clock, I would say that the trade is going to be a short. Marketers. Yeah, marketers. That's great, perfect word for them. That's what they are. They are internet marketers, not traders. I'd even start at anything less. Trade spot. If you're new at trading, just trade the spot, right? The spot market. Most exchanges offer that. Like if I want to trade Bitcoin on spot price, I can. Right? That means you're not leveraging anything. You're only risking the capital that's in the account. And then if you take a 1% or a 2% stop on that, you're only risking 1 or 2% of the total account. And you can make money trading spot. 100%. Leverage is a good tool, but it's also dangerous. It can literally it can hurt you really, really bad. Really bad. I have so many messages of people just telling me stuff like, man, I lost $150,000 or I lost $35,000. And I mean, that sucks. It really does. I wish you'd have found this channel first, but there's nothing you can do about that now. Now you just got to learn from your mistakes or just quit trading altogether. I mean, what's lost is lost. It can be made back, but it ain't going to be made back quickly and easily. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort on your part. Just don't use leverage. It hurts bad when it starts trading against you. I'd even start at 2 or 3. I read that. I've only been using real money for the last 2 months and I'm down. And it is easy as it seems, but I've learned more with real money than paper could ever teach. I suggest using real money as well. Just use a small amount of real money. Like everybody in America can afford $100, right? Pretty much. If you have a full-time job, you can pretty much handle putting $100 in an account. Trade with that $100. If you cannot turn that $100 into $200, then you're not going to be able to do it with leverage either, because fees are a lot more expensive with higher leverage. 12 to 3 p.m. London time. Yeah. Well, see, the London session open is at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's around 9 o'clock or 8 a.m. your time. You can trade that time zone too. You don't just have to trade the New York time zone. You can trade London or New York. I'm okay with either one of those. Because a lot of times the London session will set the lower high of day. Right? Not always, but a lot of times it does. So you could literally find a good resistance or support level at the London session open, and you could get long and potentially be long at the low of day. Right? But only London and New York. Because in the daily range, the entire daily range, the Asian session does a lot of fake out moves. The original or first initial move in the Asian session is not really going to be. I mean, you can take trades during the Asian session. Just understand that they ain't going to work out as much or as often as this strategy does with, say, the London or New York session. I'm just not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to trade it. I get just as much out of the New York session as I probably could during the London session. So I just trade the New York session. Please smash the likes. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, you can do that for me. That'd be great. Thanks, Heath. Bitcoin wants to roll over. Hopefully not. Hopefully, you mean no? It's still not 196 on the day. So, ooh, that candle got us all the way back to the entry. Yeah, it looks like it's struggling with resistance. So, yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. But we already took our profits, so we're already golden for today on the Bitcoin. ETH is struggling at a support as well. Algo's down 5.4%. Algo's fun to trade. That thing can move pretty good. Mana's down 5% on the day. Pound is down again. So Pound was a short. It just didn't work out. Didn't provide an entry. And let's go see if, yeah, we're still in this, but it's not looking good either. Not looking good either. It is what it is. Yeah, that's probably coming from Euro weakness more so than Aussie strength, because Euro's down 0.5%. So this weakness is from the Euro. Also, a good rule of thumb is leave the pairs alone that are already up 1% or 1.5%. Just leave them alone, because generally they've already that the move's already occurred. You might be able to get in on a pullback trade a day or two later, but generally on the day when you get big news like that, it's really going to be, not an easy trading day, or you're going to trade as an inside day, right? Meaning not really doing much of anything. And this is still the daily range on the Aussie. So trying to short this low of day is just, it's a little iffy, all right? Now, on Aussie dollar, I put this out on the FX, in the FX channel, but if you guys are here and you trade FX, the price to watch on Aussie dollar moving forward for any potential short entries, like say Wednesday or Thursday, would be 0.69883. So I took that short entry yesterday. This looks really good today. But if you do get a pullback up to daily supply right there, then if that acts as resistance, that's where I would look for my downside continuation trade. It might not get up there. It's anybody's guess. But I nailed the weekly high on that one. Trying to nail the weekly low on Bitcoin. It's been difficult the last 2 days. We've got 2 for 2 though on profitable trades, so there's nothing to complain about. But I really would like to see this thing form a bottom on the weekly. We just use $100. Yeah, $100. Anybody can afford $100. So that way, if you use a lot of leverage and you liquidate the entire $100, guess what? You'll live to fight another day. If you don't know how to trade, do not use your life savings, please, because YouTubers try to make it look easy or sound easy, but it is not easy. That is one thing I will never say to you. You will not learn this easily, but you can learn it. Just join the stream. Well, the stream's getting ready to wrap up. We're at 10 o'clock. I don't like going too much over 2 hours. We started at 8. We wrap up at 10. Because generally the move's going to happen, whatever, one way or the other. What we did is we got long Bitcoin at hourly support, similar to what we did yesterday. And the similar thing is happening now as what happened yesterday. Yesterday we had a fantastic bullish move to the upside, and then it got sold off. So that seems to be the trend for this week, but it is just Tuesday. So maybe if tomorrow we're still making fresh lows, then the trade on this weekly range, we'll know then in hindsight that it was the short right there. But see, the weekly range is still very, very small. It's not big. It's a very tiny weekly range. And, I like to see support. And we do currently have support. Still, at this point in time, the main support that we got long on is still intact. And it will be until you close an hourly below it. So later on in the day, if you're still struggling to close below that, maybe it is forming the weekly low and it's just taking time. Because it does sometimes take time. Yes, baby. Yeah, Daddy's getting ready to wrap it up, so just chill out a minute. I don't know what you want. You've been fed. All right, let's go ahead and get these last questions and we'll wrap them up. Is it reasonable to go long on Bitcoin at 22,660 or 22,605? You mean the low of day? No, because if you're down at the low of day, then that means you're probably going to make a new low of day. Right? So I mean, I wouldn't. We use wicks as targets also. We don't take entries based on wicks. We take entries based on support and resistance, which that is support currently. And it has held. Is it reasonable to take a trade here later on in the day? I wouldn't advise it. Because if we're hanging around the support for very long, there's a good chance that it's going to break down too. Just because it hasn't broken down yet don't mean it will hold. Because this support held for 4 hours before you broke down. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. And this looked really good, like it was going to get some momentum. But then you broke down and you took out that target. So lows are targets. We generally don't take trades there. We're generally targeting them. Right? So, but like this down here, this white line, this final area, that is your weekly open. That is last week's open. So if you start trading below that, if you start closing dailies below that, then it looks like the weekly range is going to be down, not up. So we'll see, we'll see what happens from there. But to me, and from what I've seen, this is the best entry. Here, I just... Yeah, I have to remember to unmute him. As you mentioned, you would have taken profits for the Bitcoin. Yes, absolutely. When we got to a 2-to-1 risk to reward because there was supply right there. And the point of control was up there. Right? Those were the reasons why we weren't looking for a new fresh daily high. If the point of control was under us, like down here, if this point of control was like down here, then, then we would probably try to stretch that trade or push it up to intraday resistance or even the daily high. But when your point of control is above you, you're just basically looking for profitable trades. There's a reason, like my bias is keeping me looking for longs down here, but what we probably should have been doing this week is looking for shorts, looking for the weekly pullback. But it's okay because we've been making money on them. It's just can't get anything going when the order flow is bearish. So you don't want to try to push a trade on a long at the bottom of the market when the order flow is bearish. You take profits. And then your risk is out of the market. So whatever happens, happens. It's okay with you. If this ends up becoming the weekly low, then, we'll be situated nicely with still a decent sized position in the market. And no risk, 0 risk as far as, your capital. If you're trying to make money dollar-wise, what are you looking? I don't make money dollar-wise. I look to make percents on the account. I look to make 1 to 2% on the account. Well, always I'm looking to make 2% if I'm risking 1%, which is what I always risk in FX. So I'm generally looking to make 2 or 3%. I do not ever give it a dollar value because dollar values blind people to what it really is. What you're really trying to do is make consistent percentage gains on your account. You're not, you know what I mean? That's it. Look at your account as a tool, not as a dollar value. Look at the account, the fundage that you have in the account. Look at that as a tool and only a tool. And you're going to use that tool to basically make the tool bigger. I aim for percent gain, not money value. I'd have thought you'd have a pretty big position to make something worthwhile to bother trading. This is a decent position, right? Because I was risking 5%. So when I took profits up there, that was 10% on the return on investment. A 10% ROE is nice, or ROI, right? That's nice. Right now, the ROE is 3%. That's because we're back down at support. But when we were up there, it was 10%. A 10% day, which it wasn't a full-on 10% day because I left some on, right? So probably anywhere from 5 to 8%, depending on the fees. That ain't a bad day. That ain't a bad day at all. And we nailed one yesterday the same way. So generally, you can look at it as I'm up almost 14% on the week based on 2-day trades. So technically, I could quit for the week and be fine, be just okay. Also, I am up really big on Aussie dollar, the short we took yesterday, or I took yesterday, and I'm up nicely on the USD JPY short. So like really and truly, August is done already for me. I could quit today and not trade again, but I won't because I love it. Are you planning to keep going with the live streams on a day? No, not on a daily basis, Mr. KF. The daily base, it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays for the public streams, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays for the Discord streams. But yeah, we're going to stream every single day. Every single day. But yeah, that's just something that I've been trying to work on for a long time because the Discord community is growing, and obviously I got to put more emphasis on them. But I think 2 live streams per week is decent. We've already done 2, but there'll be another one on Thursday. Right now we're trying to stop everybody out. Right now it's trying to push down and stop everybody out on the daily. So that's your order flow. It's bearish. Down here's the last level we're going to watch. If we lose that, then we'll just wait for next week to see how next week reacts. But I mean, if we get a short opportunity, we'll take it. It's just, I don't want to take a short opportunity just yet. I mean, these days have not been excruciatingly bearish. Today's been more bearish than pretty much, any other day as far as, body wise. This day was a pretty big bearish day there, but this day was a long, right? We were targeting the highs. So now we're just looking for a weekly low, and I thought we might have found it today. We might still have, but it's not looking good. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for being here. We hit almost like 94 people at one point in time. That is freaking awesome. I can't thank you enough. Plus my cat is complaining, and I don't know why, but we will see you again Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be looking for a trade that day as well. So you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you trade safe, make sure you trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.